Hi everyone, we've finally got to the end of the grass cutting season now. The ground's just too wet, too mushy. The grass is pretty much stopped growing now. We've had a couple of frosts and that's about it now for the season. So I'm going to do an end of season review on the Hayter Pro. I bought this pretty much at the beginning of the season, around about the beginning of April. So it's done pretty much a full season. So I'll spin the camera around and let's have a look. Okay, so like I said, at the beginning of April I bought the mower, and within a month or so it had a recall on the blade brake release, something to do with the bushing there. So it was a potential problem apparently, so they changed that, and to be fair it seemed fine to me before, but after it was changed it was worse. When you engage the blade, if you released it slowly it would stay put, it wouldn't release, and if you did push it and release it, this little catch here would release with a big snatch, and there'd be a big clunk in the brake mechanism underneath. So it had a second recall a few weeks later, probably a month later, and it is 100% perfect now. So there's no clunking, there's no snatching on that lever. I think I mentioned this in one of my earlier videos. It was that bad I used to just press it and just release it like that to stop it clunking, but as you see it's absolutely perfect now. So it was the end of August and I noticed that the gearbox was leaking. So it was leaking quite badly and I had to go in and have a new gearbox. So it was out of action for about a week while they organised that. It was done under the warranty, so not a problem other than holding me up really, but something I didn't expect on a mower which was basically just a few months old. So anyway, that was fixed. I've not really had any other issues with it or any other problems. I'll put some pictures up at the end of this video just supporting some of the facts. In the dry it bags absolutely solidly right to the front. The bag becomes very heavy. The mower never really gives any indication that it's full, but it really does bag fantastically. Now in the wet I'm just gonna turn the mower over. So in the wet it will block up underneath here, it will pack. It'll pack the grass into the recess round there. I don't know what causes that. I've not really had it a lot on other mowers. You do get a bit of packing on other mowers, but this will pack it right the way up, so that to the point where the blade actually leaves the groove, it grooves in the packed grass. So after you've done every lawn you have to tip it up and literally rake it all out and clean it up. before moving on to the next lawn. So I've noticed that this plastic under here seems to be getting quite, don't know if you can see that on video, but it seems to be getting quite rough. See that? Getting very pitted, very rough. I don't know how long that's going to last. Don't know what's causing that, whether it's the grass that's packing up in there, and you probably see that a little bit better there maybe. It's almost like it's melting as that's going round. Don't know what's causing it, but anyhow, don't know how long that's going to last, that plastic. But apart from that, the new gearbox seems fine up to now. We're certainly keeping an eye on it anyway. It's got me a little bit on edge now, that has. So it shouldn't really happen, but I suppose as everyone will get something bad at some point. It happens with cars, vans, you know, everybody gets a bad one occasionally. So cutting in the wet, I won't say it packs the bag solidly, because it doesn't. It will fill the bag to sort of after 3/4. I think the RPM is too slow on this engine. It's a little bit underpowered. It could do with a bit more oomph, a bit more power. But saying that, one thing I will say is it is damn too fast. It is really too fast, and even more so on smaller lawns. And I think that could be some of the issues as regards packing wet grass, because it just it's going too fast to be able to throw the grass into the bag. It needs slowing down. Now, I have heard that there is a speed reduction kit for this to slow it down, but I've got to double check on this, but I've heard that I may have to pay for this if I want to slow it down, which is a bit ironic really. I mean, you buy a car and you buy the upgrades to make it go faster. You buy a mower that's too fast and you've got to pay for it to go slower. So that's something I've just got to check up on. I don't really see why I should pay for any upgrades, so to speak, to make it go slower. I mean, I'm not a young person, I'm not old, but you know, 56-year-old, marching behind this thing gets a bit too much when you're doing sort of 15-20 lawns sometimes in a day. So you know, for somebody that's a little bit older than me, or a little bit less mobile, you know, you're going to struggle a bit. So there is that. This doesn't come with any side skirts, which is another thing. If you want them, you have to pay for them. Some of the better mowers out there come with side skirts. So there are some side skirts available for it, but you do have to pay for them. Something else I noticed, got a bolt missing out of there. So something else that shouldn't happen. I mean, you could say, well, you know, vibration and that, but at the end of the day, that bolt should have a locking nut on it, so shouldn't really come undone. And if it's not a locking nut, then it should have Loctite on it, so shouldn't come undone. You get vibration on all sorts of machinery, cars, tractors, lorries, vans. You don't get nuts and bolts falling off them and engines falling out, so that's a bit bad really. Yeah, what else can I say? Let's tip this back over again. I've noticed some posts which have stated that they've had problems with grass blocking up in this bar here. People have said they prefer a square bar because it scrapes the grass off as the roller goes around. Again, I have some pictures which shows this bunged up in the bottom here and the grass around the roller, but it doesn't block up. I've never had it bunged up solid. It does leave a bit of grass there, but if you just do that, it fetches it off. It's not enough to block that roller up or stop it from going round. This plastic guard could have something on the bottom as a shield, a little metal plate or something, just to stop it wearing out, but then again it's easy replaceable, and although it's got scratches and scrapes, I think it will take a bit of wearing out, to be fair. Don't know what to make about these plastic end pieces on the ends of these rollers, how long it'll be before they wear out, but I suppose they're not going to wear out until the rollers wore out, so it seems to be wearing quite well. So yeah, the blade, the sharpened knee, these seem a bit soft to me compared to blades I've had on previous mowers. You sharpen them and it doesn't seem 5 minutes before they're all chewed up again. I've let this one go a little bit longer, just finishing off the last cuts, as it's going in for a service shortly, and it'll get sharpened and everything. I'm not going to sharpen it before it goes in for a service. Also, don't know if you can see this, but I've lost a lot of paint under here, and as you see, that piece there, that's paint that's flaking off. So I guess they all lose the paint in time, but as I say, it's only a few months old. So yeah, tyres, these are very rubbery type tyres compared to some I've had on previous mowers where they've been hard plastic. They do seem to be wearing quite well. They don't have bearings in these wheels. That's another thing. A lot of mowers do, but these don't. They have a nylon bush. I don't know what to say about that really. I mean, yeah, bearings can go for so long and then collapse. You know, get grit in them, start letting water in. I know the sealed bearings, but they do give up eventually. A nylon bush may just last a lot longer, and before the wheels start wobbling too much. So yeah, as I say, it needs some more RPM. It needs slowing down, but apart from that, it's not too bad a mower. It's certainly come on a long way from the early ones. I mean, the last one I was running was the pre-gearbox version, where you didn't get any issues with it whatsoever, other than if it was soaking wet grass. You just cut a, you know, one breed, one length of the lawn sort of thing, and if you got to the end you'd have to unblock it. You'd feel it, hear it blocking up halfway down the row sort of thing, so it's forever unblocking it. So this is a massive improvement, but could be better, and I think with a speed reduction kit on it and a little bit more RPM, I think would be absolutely fine, you know. The only other issue is I cleaned that bag the other day, and by heck, you know, I've been cutting some wet grass just lately, and that was absolutely caked up solid. Now my pressure washer's packed up, so that was very hard work for me to get that clean. I'm not impressed with cutting wet grass with that. I think a plastic box would be a good addition to have. So I think Hayter, if you could come up with a plastic box. Some people say, oh well, you know, plastic, if you drop it you break it. No, these modern plastics these days are very strong. If they use the right plastic, you'd be able to throw it across a concrete floor and it wouldn't break. So there you have it, guys. That concludes the 2019 Hayter Pro end of season review, so you can draw your own conclusions to that. So I'll say bye for now and catch you all again in the next video.